All right, I think we good. Welcome, guys. My name is Mixed by 8i from mixedby8i.vision, and today I'm going to be mixing an R&B song from start to finish, right? And I say start to finish, but there's only so many tracks in here. So we have a verse and a chorus. The purpose of this video is to show you guys how to mix an R&B vocal to a 2-track beat. This is a song that I wrote probably going on 6 or 7 years now ago, and I that was a time period where I really didn't understand the mixing process, and so I just let it be. Um, the beat to me was too dynamic, or not too dynamic. It was too squished, and I just didn't know how to work around that, so I just scrapped the song entirely. But upon reviewing it, I was like, okay, I think I could deal with this. So the goal here is to simplify the process. Get in, get out with the vocal. We want to process this vocal against this 2-track beat, and then we also want to make it sound good with like effects and possibly some automation. So I'll let you hear the song. Going into it, I'll let you hear the song before we get started with everything. The only thing that I've added was the auto tune and my mix bus processing, and I'll show you that real quick. It's just the NLS bus tape by Softtube. This is a highly slept on plugin. This plugin sounds amazing. I have it on the B setting, and then I just turned down the amount just a little bit. It sounds really good. And then the one and only God particle is added with a little boost in the high end. So other than that, you're going to be hearing this in its raw form, and we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Before we do though, if you like anything at any point in this video, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and then share your thoughts in the comments below. This is a live video. If you're watching this live, feel free to comment in real time. I'll be sure to look in the comments or check for comments as I'm processing. And then also, I have a ton of live streams, including the session mesh sessions on my Patreon. If you join Patreon, you get access to a lot of courses that are coming up. You get access to a lot of resources and guides. I'm, working hard to get those done, but we just launched a Patreon for 8i Visions Media, and I would love for you guys to join there and join in on the fun there. All right, so let's get into it. I'm gonna stop talking. I know average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my love is like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to her, she'll be begging me for more. All right, so that's the song there. Like I said, I like the song. Listening back to it, we have some verse vocals, we have some hooks, with just kind of like a call and response, and then we have some dubs. So very simple, shouldn't take long, but I'll show you guys just how I simplify this. So normally I start with the static mix. This is the mix that I had going into when I came back to it, and I kind of liked where it was at, so I kept it as is. I didn't change anything about the static mix, but the static mix is going to be the utmost important part of the mixing process, because you want to see where your levels, you want to see where your song is going to kind of end up, and that way when you add plugins and processing, you'll have an endpoint. And so I always highly encourage setting up the static mix. All right, so with that, I have some like I said, I have the lead vocals. It's routed to a lead vocal bus, and that's where we'll start. And also with the hook vocals, let's go in, and I'm just going to say that let's say, for example, it is tonal wise, I think it could benefit from some high passing and things like that. So we'll get rid of a lot of that low that rumble information against that 2-track beat. So let's hear that. And I soloed it, so we'll need to go here. She not know. So as you can see, right in that 60 hertz, you got a little bit of information right there, and I don't have any information right there, so I'm just going to take that out. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her. Okay, so I'm trying to close my eyes and really listen to it. I can hear that it sounds like there's a cup over my mouth, and so normally I know that that's about that 2 to 500 hertz range, and so I just want to take out just a little bit of that. And the reason why I'm only going to take out a little bit of that is because we're going to use a channel strip to really scope that sound that we want. So this is just a little bit of the cleanup before we go into that, so that my channel strip doesn't have to work as hard. So with that in mind, I'm just going to probably scoop out around this 280. We'll start at 280. I want to keep the warmthness in my voice compared to the beat, so I won't be touching anything below that frequency. So we'll check that out. Let's see, we'll boost it up just a little bit and hear where we are with it. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her. So yeah, right about that 260 hertz, we have a wide Q, so I just want to kind of correct that just a little bit. So I won't take out a lot, but we'll take it out as we're listening to it. And I like to do that with the beat. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. So as you can hear, like, it really just opened up and made that vocal just a little bit, gave it a little bit more clarity. And just those two moves right there, we have somewhat of a decent vocal. My thing with EQ, I would tell you that EQ is not about boosting or cutting, it's about focus. So with that said, because I said that when we started off, it sounded like it was a cup over my head. That sounds a little bit muddy or a little bit boxy even sometimes. We want to shift the focus. And so as you can hear, when I took out that 260 hertz, now all of a sudden that high end becomes a little bit more present. And so that's why I say EQ is about focus. So when you boost or cut something, you change the focus of it. And so I don't want my compressor to be focusing a lot on those low mids, so I'm taking that out, but not a lot to where it's actually taking away from my vocal. And so hopefully that helped you guys. And I am dropping frames for whatever reason. Okay. YouTube says I'm good. Oh, let me double check. Okay. YouTube still says I have a good connection. All right. So, with that said, you really don't have to do much there. Everything that we're going to do, we're going to sculpt with the channel strip. But another thing that I want to do is just kind of add some compression to this, and not so much compression, but adding some leveling. And the easiest way for me to do that, especially with R&B vocals, is just to add an LA2A style of compression. And so I've set this pretty much back to like level 0. And the thing about this LA2A or this CLA2A or LA2As in general, excuse me, you start with the peak reduction and then you introduce the gain. So it's not gain going into the this gain button is not going into the compression, it's coming out of the compression. So you literally start with the peak reduction. So that tells you, what that means is that the signal and how much this is compressed is based on the level that goes into it. And so I'm probably gonna keep this emphasis right around that 50%, so it's not catching too much of those lows, like I said. But what we'll do is we'll try to get just a little bit of compression. And when I say a little bit, I really mean a little bit. The goal of this compressor is to just bring everything up to the forefront just a little bit. And so and then cut it when it becomes just a little bit too much. So let's try it out. I do this with the beat and we'll hear it. Let's check it out. So not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show all the things she never. Okay, so right about that 3 probably is a little bit too much. I'll back up just a little bit. But what I want to do is just bring that level up and get no more than 3 dB of gain reduction so that we can maintain the naturalness of that sound. So let's boost this. So not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show all the things she never. Okay, I like that. So as you can hear, like, if it gets too loud, it is compressing. But when it's not compressing, it's bringing up that loudness. And that's what we want, that ultimate leveling. So it sounds a little bit consistent. And now it's starting to sound on top of the beat. And that's what we want. But not to where it's overbearing. Another thing that I'm going to do is put this in mono. This is the Alex Hilton A1 stereo control. It's a free plugin. If you don't got this, please get this. This is a very easy and low CPU effective way to, go from stereo to mono when you're mixing. But also it's a really good stereo imaging processor. And so it ranges from very simple to, you can get very detailed with this. And then they have a lot of things that you can control, especially when you're imaging and spreading it out. You have this safe base option, but I'm not going to get too much into that. I just set this to mono, and now we're going to hear everything straight up the middle. So let's check it out. So not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show all the things she never. Okay, and so I like that. Like I said, we're gonna move on now to the channel strip. And as you can hear, just these 2 plugins, just taking out a little bit of EQ.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I had it muted. I'm so sorry. So the easiest way to get compression, Hob, I'm so sorry, is on a standard compressor, I would get about 12 dB of gain reduction, set the fastest attack, set the slowest release, and just kind of move it back, push it forward till I get the sound that I want. And I was saying, obviously, you don't have that with the CLA2A. So, but the idea is the same. You would take this peak reduction, bring it all the way to 100 to, or maybe till you're getting about 10 to 20 dB, and just push it back up, bring it back up until you get the sound that you want. But I was saying that I've used this compressor for years, so I kind of know what makes it tick, and it will also help if you do it at the loudest part. So I hope that I hope that answered your question. So like I said, with this compressor and what I'm trying to do with it, I'm only wanting to get no more than 3 dB of gain reduction. If this was more of a hip hop vocal, I would probably push for about 5 to 7 dB of gain reduction. But that's what makes this LA2A just the easiest leveling compression that's out there. So like I said, hope that answers your question. We'll move on to the channel strip. And like I said, I hope this is simplifying the process, because a lot of YouTubers, a lot of YouTube engineers know this, because I watch a lot of them. I love a lot of them, but they're going to explain to you like all of these processes that you have to do, and all, you know, step by step, not step by step, but like all these plugins that you have to put on. So my goal is to literally just simplify this process. And the easiest way to simplify the process is to use a channel strip. A channel strip may not get you all the way there, but with these 3 plugins, just with these 2 plugins, we've gotten the sound that we want. And so with this SSL, I like to use the SSL compression strictly because there's a feature or a trick that I like to use when I am using this, and that is to set the dynamics to come after the EQ by simply hitting the pre-dynamic button. And let's see. You're welcome, Hob. I'm glad I can make that simple for you. That's the whole entire goal of the channel, is to simplify things, because like I said, there's a lot of information out there. So I really appreciate that. So with this SSL, I set this equalizer to come before. Otherwise, the equalizer is coming. I'm saying equalizer like it's formal. The EQ is coming after the compression. The reason why we want to go EQ into compression is because of this trick that I learned some time ago. If I just boost this 8K or this top shelf EQ plugin, or this top shelf knob on this EQ, it's going to really spank that compressor. Remember, I said that EQ is all about focus. So if I'm pushing this knob all the way up on the top end, well, guess what? That compressor is now going to be focusing on that top end. So I can get as much of that top end as I want, and that compressor is just going to control that. Now, how we set that is simple. So I'm going to listen to this, and I'm just going to set some controls, and I'll let you know what I do after the fact. So I'm going to press play, and let's check it out.
She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous.
So we're adding a little bit more clear, a little bit more openness.
Swag, I got her full attention.
And then I also need to do this.
Bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous.
So as you can see, I'm literally like adding another high pass filter on top of the high pass filter that we've already added. But this is adding just a little bit more. We're going a little bit higher, up around 120 hertz. And then we're taking I meant to do this as a bell. That's probably why it sounded the way that it did. We're gonna add a bell around that 200 hertz because we really want to accent that. And also with R&B vocals, you don't have as much of that low end information, especially nowadays. And so we want that top end sheen. To get there, we have to fix a few things. And so I'm just going to press play again, but I wanted to show you guys where I'm at with it. And so let's see.
She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad.
And here's where the magic is.
So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I
So you can see, just like I'm like adding 9 dB of of that 8,000 hertz. Normally that would be like, why would you do that? But here is the trick. So I'm gonna turn this. We're gonna try to set the attack fast on the SSL channel. On the SSL channel, you don't really have attack settings, but you do have the option to get like the normal attack, and then it goes a little bit faster. I think it's the difference between 3 milliseconds at the fastest and 30 milliseconds at the slowest. And so by default, it's about 30 milliseconds. But if we turn on the fast attack, it's about 3 milliseconds. So we'll see where we're at with 3 milliseconds. Like I said, we want to focus on controlling that top end that we just added, so we can have some of that sheen without getting that brightness, or that harshness. So it's a widely known trick. I'm not going to sit here and say that I came up with that on my own, but with vocals, that's pretty much standard nowadays. And so I'm just going to get about maybe 2 to 3 on the ratio. We'll see if we need to push this release. I'm literally doing this in real time, so I don't know how this is going to sound. And we'll push this until we're getting a consistent 3 dB of gain reduction, and at the very highest 6. So, and that doesn't mean we're hitting 6, it just means we're getting somewhere between 3 and 6 dB of gain reduction. So yeah, it really opens it up. I love adding a lot of 8K. I will say, if you find that it is a bit harsh around that area, which a lot of my vocals nowadays are, because I'm not recording with the same mic. I'm using the Audio-Technica 2035, which is very bright, and my voice is also very bright. So you can push this all the way, to up about 16,000 hertz. It's going to be a little bit more subtle, but the effect will still be there. I just prefer to do the 8K. And so we'll get some compression. Let's press play. And like I said, do all of this in mono and really push everything, and you'll hear just how it's affecting your signal. And so let's see.
She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never.
Okay, so we're hitting where we want. My problem is, my issue is that it's too, that attack is too fast. So I'll just turn that off. And if need be, we'll set the release a little bit faster or decrease the ratio. But I like where it's going, and maybe possibly we got a little bit too much of that open end. I might have got a little bit too heavy handed. So let's check it out with these new settings.
She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me.
That sounds better.
She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she get
So this is before.
not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like
After?
the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never.
Okay, so even better, we're approaching 3 decibels and it still sounds good. I'm just gonna push this up just a little bit, maybe about a dB and a half, because it sounds like we lost a little bit of that volume, which is kind of surprising because with the SSL compressor, it does have sort of like an auto gain feature, but that's why they have this knob here. So I like it like that. And I don't need to change anything else about it. I don't feel like I need to change anything else. Everything that I'm about to do now is more sort of a safety net. I'm going to add a de-esser at about 6300 hertz just to be safe. Like I said, it's not overly essy, for lack of a better term, but we'll add just a little bit of that de-essing, probably get about 3 dB of gain reduction on that, or attenuation on that de-essing. Let's see.
She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never.
Okay, so yeah, we're getting about 3 dB. I pushed the level back because it is a little bit louder. The last thing, like I said, just to kind of create consistent upfront vocals, I just like to throw a little bit of that RVox on there. It's going to add just a smidge more of compression. Oh, I'm sorry, I got this in the way. Thanks, Hub. It's been a journey. Like, EQ was one of the hardest things for me, man. It was just, when I started EQing, I was like, I was doing a lot. I learned that, like I said, I had to learn that EQ was all about focus and not just arbitrarily throwing on numbers just because somebody tells you to. And that's pretty much the hard part about it, is knowing what not to touch. And so I really appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you, man. And so with this RVox, like I said, the RVox is just a little bit of compression, but what it's also going to do is it's going to add a little bit more body back into that track. And so let me see if I can like it. Sorry, got a little bit of that ADHD. Let's think about something else. Okay. With the RVox, like I said, it's gonna add a little bit more of that that body back into it, but you don't want to go too overboard because you already have about I don't know how much I added beforehand, like going into the recording, but we already have about maybe 6 dB of compression. On an R&B vocal, that's probably pushing it, but we'll see if we can get a dB more out of it. Let's see.
She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She like the smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show her things she never. She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me.
So I'm hearing a lot of when I do that, bring that compressor out, maybe I need to go down or up a little bit more. Let's side chain or monitor the frequency that we're affecting. Okay, so we just needed to bring the de-esser down just a little bit. That's where most of those S's and SH's are in my voice on this particular track. It's normally about 6,000 hertz, but you know, nothing is set in stone. So I like that. And that's pretty much the entire chain. Like 5 plugins, and we really didn't need the last 2. They were just, like I said, they were just there for a safety net. If you want to go a little bit further, there's things like Soothe that'll get rid of any of those resonant frequencies, but I like to keep things the way that I recorded it. And when you go off and you try to, perfect every little aspect, it takes away the humanistic feel from the song. So if the song makes me feel good before I even throw any processing on, or after I do the static mix, any other thing, everything that I'm doing is chipping away at that. So I really want to try to enhance more than, perfect and make it sound clean and perfect. The LA2A is giving us a little bit of harmonics. The console, the SSL channel is giving us a little bit of harmonics. The RVox is just doing something, crazy. And that's it. With that said, we may need to do that individually on these hook tracks, but why make life harder than what it is? We'll just add it. We'll add the same processing that we did to all of the hook vocals and adjust if needed. So because we have more vocals, we may need to push back just a little bit on the compression, and also probably do a little bit more EQ, because more vocals means more frequency buildup. And so we'll do a little bit more EQ possibly. Soothe is incredible, one of the best, along with the PA bundle. Yeah. I had a chance to play with Soothe. I did the trial that they did. It's just really expensive for me at this given time. But I don't know if you tried the what is it called? The Baby Audio Smooth Operator. I do have that one, and I use it when, like I said, with my new mic, everything is just harsh. I don't have the best recording setup. That Soothe is amazing from what I've tried with it, and I can see why it's highly used and highly regarded. Let's see. So I have this, like I said, in mono, and you'll hear when we take I don't know if you can hear it on YouTube, but once we take this out of mono and put it back in the stereo, you'll hear exactly just why you need to start mixing in mono. And if you're having trouble getting everything to sit perfectly or sit balanced. So I'm going to take this out of mono.
She not no average, gotta be careful with it. When I approached her, got nervous, told her level with me. She
and we
like
go from
the
this.
smile and the swag, I got her full attention. And she know that she bad, she the devil with it. So if she give me the time, then I'ma show all the things she never.
Okay. So we'll move on to the hook. Let's see what that sounds like. My computer want to act up.
Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my love is like an anchor. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my love is like an anchor. Once I give it to her, she be begging me for more.
Nice. So really don't have to touch anything. That's the beauty of the new age modern mixing and mastering. You can just copy and paste everything, and we pretty much got everything set up. The only thing I regret is sending this to a mono aux track. So really quick, I'm just going to route this to a new track, a new aux bus, and call it, it's a stereo aux, and we'll just call it hook, so that we don't run into any naming issues. And so that gives us back that. All right, and we'll get rid of that. That's no longer relevant, and route that to my sub mix so that it gets the same processing as all my tracks. All right, so oh yeah, I gotta solo save it. All right, so let's hear it, make sure nothing's changed.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my lovin's like an encore.
Nice. Okay, so because we've not spent a lot of time on the processing, what we can do is we have more creative space and more room to get these vocals the way that we want it to sound. And so I would like to try a little bit of harmonics on that. Let me show you. And this is all just an experiment. We'll try the lo-fi first. Let me see.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an. And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be.
Okay, so I have another one in mind. I don't like that. Let's try the J37.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you,
I'm being careful not to introduce too much saturation, because too much saturation can really muddy up the vocal. I think that's about a good spot right there. And so let me hear it again.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to her, she be begging me for more.
Okay, so what we'll try is a little bit of doubling. Let's see what that does for the hook. I want this hook to kind of stand out from the verse. And so we'll try the waves doubler. Let's go with the doubler 4. Make it sound larger than life just a little bit. I like the doubler 4 preset, the doubler 4 voices preset, excuse me. So let's see, we'll solo save that.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you.
Well, that's only gonna be there, so I'm just.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll go with that. I want to show you guys a trick that I just learned, and like I said, none of this stuff is like groundbreaking. I just want to show you how to piece this together. No pun intended with the show you. I just want to show you how to piece this together. How it says the gain stage and made it come together. Yes, that is a combination of getting it right at the source when you record, and also the static mix. So the static mix is going to be very important, and the levels and how you record is going to affect that sound, so I appreciate that. Let's see. I want to do a little trick with this reverb. We'll give it some where's my Valhalla vintage verb? Oh, because we're in mono. I was like, hold on now, wait a minute. Okay, so I want to try this, and let's go. Why can't I do any presets? It's not gonna let me do any presets. I can't do any presets. Not to worry. We'll go with some 1980s vocal, and we'll push this all the way up to about 7 seconds. So hearing, 7 seconds is very long, like super long. So let's see. We'll go add this to our chain, and we automatically get that sound.
Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before.
So just for simplicity's sake, we'll start with a short haul. And let's go with, I kind of want a darker sound with this reverb, so we'll start with the chamber. See how that sounds.
Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she.
So you can kind of hear where I'm going with this, where I'm just going to boost this up. But if we boost this up, guess what happens? It starts to drown out the sound.
All the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an encore.
So that reverb just rings out, but the issue is we can't get the sound that we want because now it's drowning the reverb. So I'll fix that really quick. We'll set up a bus. We'll just route it to bus 1. Set it to pre-fader. Get us, and we're gonna add some EQ as well, so I'll put this on the second one. Let's go with the R compressor, just because I'm very familiar with it. And we'll set this sidechain input to be bus 1. So now when it comes in, it's only going to it's going to be sidechained to the hook vocal itself. And so when this vocal comes in, then that reverb is going to duck, and then when I stop talking, that's when that 7 seconds is just going to ring out and make it just magical. Very wide known trick. I learned this actually from a lot of, like, listening to a lot of The Weeknd, and how he just has that really ethereal sound. And so let's see. Yes, I do EQ my reverb. I'm beginning with the end in mind. So this is pretty much on par with how I would mix in a normal setting. I EQ before I compress, but I start compression before I do the EQ. And here's a quick way to get that sound. So I'll start with maybe 4 dB or 4:1 ratio. Set this attack really fast, which in this case we're going to need to set it that fast, but I'll set this release very slow, and we'll just push this threshold down till we're getting some gain reduction.
Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging.
So that reverb is just, once it stops, that reverb just rings out. And so I'll keep this attack very fast, but what I'll also do is just set this release to be just a tad bit faster. Well, not tad bit, we're approaching.
Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never.
So that's what I want to prevent, is that pumping effect. I want it to come in a lot more smoother than that.
Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an anchor. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my lovin's like an anchor. Once I give it to her, she be begging me for more. And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before.
Okay, so I'll probably push back on the reverb just a little bit. We'll EQ it. We'll just do a standard REQ6. No, we're not. We're gonna just do the regular EQ, just to show you don't need to have all these plugins. I still use my stock Pro Tools plugins a lot of the time because they just sound magnificent. We'll bring this up just a little bit by about 12 dB an octave, and I'll push this to about maybe 250. We'll start there, and on the high end, that's my standard. It's just pushing that thing up, but I want it to still sound a little bit natural. We'll start with 4, a low pass all the way down to 4.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an anchor.
So I want to maybe get about 3 to 6. I don't want that to be noticeable.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an anchor. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my lovin's like an anchor. Once I give it to her, she be begging me for more. And then I'ma show.
Okay, so that's barely noticeable, but if we take that away, it's going to be like something's missing. So I really like that sound. Every time I talk, there's like something that's blocking my nose, and if I'm not in my headphones recording, it doesn't act up. But that's the sound that I want to go for. Maybe we'll push it out just a little bit using the A1 stereo control. It's just I love this thing.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an anchor. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her.
Okay, so I love that. I really love that. Let's go with some delay now, and we'll see. Oh, I already have delay. I have the stock delay on here. I'm gonna route this to one of these. Let's go with a quarter note. It really doesn't matter because we might be changing it anyway. I like the Valhalla vintage delay, or I said the vintage delay, the Valhalla delay, strictly because of that tape and that BBD set and that the bridge bucket decay delay, whatever it is. But I like the very like muffled sound of the BBD, and then but the tape will start with that. Let's see.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you.
So we gotta set it to the right thing.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before.
Magnificent. So we'll try to go with some ping pong. See how that sounds. Set this to 1/4.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you.
Maybe down to 1/8.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you, I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you, my lovin's like an anchor.
That's why I don't do that like that. But let's just go dual.
Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before.
So for some reason, it's not wanting to work with me. But that's okay. Let's see. Past, present, future, nope. Yeah, usually I can hear it do that, but it's not doing that. And that's really making me mad. Huh. So use the telephone effect. That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad. I tend to do that from time to time if it sounds good. The thing with me is my vocals are very like bright, and I try to get a lot of information, a lot of low information that I can. Because I can tend to, thin my vocal out, and it's a lot of why I have to record close to a mic, just to get a little bit of that proximity effect, not a lot of it, but that's why I do EQ most of it back out, just so I just want to be able to have that option. So maybe I'm doing that wrong, maybe I just need to get another mic, but in this case, I just try to preserve everything that I can without being too muddy. And that was a challenge growing up.
All the things she never seen before.
So now it's being weird, and it needs to go back to what I had it at.
All the things she never seen before. Let me show you. I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you. My love is like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my love is like an encore. Once I give it to her, she be begging me for more. Then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you. I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you. My love is like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my love is like an encore. Once I give it to her, she be begging me for more.
And just those two moves make the adding the verb and the delay, and the doubler, excuse me. So those three moves is really bringing out that, it's making that hook sound larger than life. And so I like that a lot. And what I want to do is also add another instance of reverb, just to kind of give it a little bit. I want to put this vocal in a space, basically. And so I learned this from what's his name? Mixed by Ali. He uses the drum air preset, which is just a room or ambiance setting set very fast, and it just kind of puts that vocal in a space. And so in addition to the reverb that we're adding for effect, we can add this reverb to give us some space. And so I really learned about this concept, the plugin, from a plugin, the CLA Epic. I watched that thing. I watched those videos where Chris Lord Algae talked about mixing with depth, and so ever since then I've been hooked on like adding as many effects as I want, or as that I can, to create the space that I want. In this case, it sounds really good to me. We're just gonna add this just for a little bit of an effect, or just to add a little bit more space. Let's see.
Then I'ma show her. Let me show you. I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you. My love is like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more.
So how does that differ from the room?
Then I'ma show her.
Okay, so the ambiance is a little bit more brighter, and I kind of like that.
And then I'ma show you what you never seen before. Let me show you I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything.
And then I love that so much. And so just doing that, I already hear that I want to add a little bit of a slap on the call, well, the response. So the call would be the "let me show you," and then this is what the response is like, I need it more, so that's the response. I want to add just a little bit of slap delay. The easiest way for me to do that is through tape saturation. And let's see, I've been trying to grasp delay as a whole. It's so intimidating to me. Yeah, I can agree with that. And especially like when you learn that you can do like different, or use a lot of delays, or use delays on top of delays, like a delayception. Yeah, I may have a video on that that you could check out in the future when it comes to delay. It is a tricky thing. Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of delay. We'll talk about it. In this case, I'm using a slap delay, and I don't know how this is going to sound, but what I do know is that I am going to increase the slap.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you my love.
So the thing about delay is that it takes up space. So whenever you add delay to something, you're decreasing the amount of space things have to breathe. And don't get me wrong, I like to use as much delay as I can. And that's the tricky thing with adding a slap. Slap can be used in the place of reverb. In this case, I want to use it as an effect, but I don't want it to take up a lot of room. I want it to like kind of fill that gap, like from what I hear in my head. And so maybe we could get away with reverb on that, but I kind of slap delay is a little bit easier and a little bit better to manage when it comes to that type of effect. So we'll set it to ping pong, so we get that left and right effect, or that bouncing effect, and we'll see what happens. So that's what I want. That's the effect that I literally want right there. I don't want a lot of it, so we'll decrease the feedback. So like I said, it's not taking up a lot of space. And then we'll just blend it in because we have this directly on the track.
And then I'ma show all the things she never seen before. Let me show you I can be everything that you need and more. Let me show you my lovin's like an encore. Once I give it to you, you'll be begging me for more. I can show her all the things she never seen before. I can show her I can be everything that she need and more. I can show her my.
So, like I said, adding these effects just puts your vocals in a space that's just like, you have the power to control that. There's no limit to what you can do. A lot of this comes from experimentation, and not being afraid to fail and not being afraid to get the sound wrong. Like, I may take this to my car and it just sounds completely horrible, but like, because I want that vocal to sound larger than life, these are the tools that I have to do with that. And that's all I'm doing, is going off of feeling. This is what I want to hear. This is what I want to this is what I want that end sound to sound like. And so for this particular song, I want this to ring out. Like when I'm doing that call and response, I want it to ring out versus the verse, as opposed to the verse where I want that to be small and intimate, because I'm talking about, approaching a woman and being nervous about it. I want that to be intimate. And so, really, mixing is about managing people's emotions. And so, with this R&B vocal and everything that's in this, I want it to portray a feeling. As how says the delay is hidden. Yeah, man. Yeah, I really appreciate you. How you're definitely encouraging me to do a lot more of these lives. Um, but yeah, that's why I'm doing these videos, because I want to simplify the process, and I want to share what all that I've learned, so that you guys can take it and make it a lot better. So as far as that vintage verb trick, I like I said, I didn't come up with that by myself. I learned that from watching like a 3-hour live that a big engineer did, and once I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely using that. So I think that's what it's all about. I'll leave it up here for a second so you can see the settings. You can write down the settings, and you can even do this with like stock EQ. I just prefer to do it with the vintage verb because it just easier to do. So yeah, when you're processing these vocals, get the static level right. Excuse me. First of all, proper recording technique, a good song, great production, that is paramount, because no amount of mixing and no amount of plugins is going to fix that. Performance is everything. I value performance over lyrics. If anything, that's the only thing that's going to be higher than how the song sounds itself, is the performance of the vocal. I don't care what type of mic you use. I've recorded a lot of songs in this $20 mic that you see. I now have this mic that I picked up. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, let me unplug it. This mic here cost me $50. And so, from a professional standpoint, it's not the best gear, but what I do have is vocal performance, because I never had that big gear. So what you want to do is always value performance, lyrics, production. Those are paramount. And then, you can come in and accent that whatever's there, with this plugin and with this processing. And so I use effects on top of effects to get the sound that I want. But when it comes to processing, I try to simplify that as much as possible, because that's going to be standard across the board. If you're, recording right, you pretty much won't even have to do any type of processing like that. And you have more room and more time to be creative and, do what the song is telling you, to do, as opposed to spending 3-4 hours, trying to EQ something out. No, I want to EQ something and I want to move. I want to move on, because I want to be more creative. And that was the thing that I feared going into this, because I didn't have that, about me when I probably did this song. And so, looking back on it, the thing that is saving this song is the vocal performance. Not to toot my own horn, but that's pretty much what's saving this song, because there's not a lot going on production wise. I mean, it's a 2-track beat and it's like maybe 6 vocals, but we're going to take these 6 vocals and make it sound like a huge production. So I think that's going to wrap up what I have. I don't like to touch something if I feel it's done. I'll look at the comments one more time. Let's see what we got. Thank you for the screenshot. Please do more lives. I just want to learn. I've learned so much from your videos. It's insane. Thank you, Hop. That, like I said, that you're really encouraging me and inspiring me to keep doing these. You know, I don't like to put my business out there, but I did just recently, you know, leave my job, and so I'm like, I got to do something that inspires people and do something that helps people. I do have more lives like this that I'm going to be doing for the public. I do also have a Patreon. If you want to check that out, I did put the link in the description. What that means for you is you're going to have access to more resources, more guides, more courses. I have a series called Deal or Ditch. You get to watch that up front. I have a lot of other series that I'm planning that I want to, you know, just kind of show the core audience before I bring it out, just to, you know, because and so that's why I say it's like really encouraging that, you know, you want me to do these lives, because I'll continue to do them, and I'll do, you know, whatever you want to learn, I'll put it out there and we'll learn together in some cases if I don't know. But so let's see, it says, if there's one thing that I've learned is having a decent pre goes a long way. Like I said, that is a big thing, and I'm so sorry, like I said, if I'm saying your name wrong, but that is a big thing. You know, what I've learned about Better Gear is that Better Gear makes things easier. With this song, I recorded it through probably the Focusrite Solo at that time. This is probably like 2016, 2017. So I had a Focusrite Solo. No, I take that back. I probably had the Focusrite Scarlett 4i4. Preamps are good. You know, as I've moved up to better preamps, I found that the Focusrite is a little bit cold and kind of makes my voice more harsh, but it's, you know, gotten me through a lot of songs, and I had to work around it. But what I want you to take from this is more important than, you know, your preamps is going to be how you perform your tracks, how you produce your tracks. So I would say, if you're ever thinking about spending money on a better preamp or a better audio interface or even a better microphone or a better setup, try to gauge to see if your vocal performance is there. Try to gauge to see if you've gotten, you know, your production down pat. You know, that takes years to learn, as it's taken me. I've been doing this since I was 13 years old. I'm 27 years old now, and I'm still having to constantly remind myself that it's all about vocal performance. There are still songs that I've just written and I'll go to mix it and I'm like, I don't actually like this, and no matter how much I process it, I just can't get the sound that I want. And then I have to realize, like, maybe I didn't perform it the best way, and, you know, we lost the song. So definitely you want to be focusing more on, you know, vocal technique and proper recording technique, so that you're not having to use, you know, the big stuff that these companies market to you and tell you is the next best thing. I actually got a video on that. So I definitely want to encourage you to just keep recording, keep doing more. If you're a recording engineer, record more people or record yourself. If you're mixing, you just mix more songs or focus on getting a better production and arrangement technique. There's a lot to it that I could explain, but you know, we'll talk But definitely, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, those of you who are watching that haven't commented. And I want to say that there will probably be more lives, and but definitely check out the Patreon. I'll be posting more on there. I'm looking to build my courses and everything like that. And so, yeah, from start to finish, we have done an entire sort of kind of R&B vocal. I want like I said again, I want to thank you guys. My words be escaping me sometimes, and I drag on a lot, but I really do appreciate you. And until next time, thanks for watching. Peace. Yeah, baby.